Guys, guess what? On to the next, on to the next, on to the next. Okay, so it has officially been reported that Ari Lennox exits Dreamville Records via Interscope Records. Yeah. So if you guys haven't been following, Ari Lennox has had some struggles with her record label on promotion and things like that. I'm going to discuss, but I'm going to play a little bit. There's a couple of clips. So I'm going to play a little bit of one just to get the gist of her frustration, and we'll be back in a sec.
To do. Like, I try to do things the right way and no one takes me seriously. And so we're here, right? We're here. We're on social media again because no one takes me seriously. I told management I didn't want this recent video to come out because I'm tired of people treating me like I'm the face of mental health, and that I'm tired of people treating me like they're so sorry for me. Like I'm a human being who has just been very transparent about my life. And it is just weird how everyone it just gets really agitating being treated. The whole point of the Smoke video was to take back, like, just fucked up. The whole point of this album was to take back, like, every negative thing. I don't know what else to do. People have said about me, and to try to own that and be like, fuck y'all. And there's nothing that I will ever be able to do to try to repair my reputation, because at the end of the day, people are hell-bent on painting me as this insecure person who is just the face of mental health.
Okay, so she's talking about how, like, because she has vented publicly about her mental health struggles, and when that clip was from last October, and I think around that time she released her song called Smoke, I believe. Let me see. Yes, it was called Smoke. Mm-hmm. And she was doing a round of interviews, and I remember she did an interview with a particular platform. And I think at some point they were asking about mental health. That was like the driving force behind, like, the questioning. Mm-hmm. And she answered it or whatever, but I guess behind the scenes, she wanted that person to not post the interview. Mm-hmm. They ended up posting the interview anyway, and she was pissed about it, and I think they ended up taking it back down. But she mentioned that as well during those clips. And I think so. I have some thoughts about Ari Lennox. I do. I have some thoughts about Ari Lennox, and it'll probably go into just other artists as well that I think about when it comes to this issue. Nowadays, when you're signed to a label, their goal is to make money. You're talented. They sign you because you're talented, but their goal is to make a profit. What's it called? ROI?
Yep. Return on investment.
Yes. So nowadays it's all about, people's attention spans are very short. Mm-hmm. And music in itself is the marketing, is the promotion. You know what I mean? Like, that's the, that it is what it is. And they want to sell, and it's all about influence nowadays. Mm-hmm. So we're trying to, when it comes to an artist, we're trying to find that thing about you that can drive engagement from the audience. Yeah. So if Ari Lennox is known for, loudly expressing her mental health struggles, or just going on her her Instagram live quote unquote rants or whatever have you, and she's mainly known for that, in passing to like the occasional viewer, they're going to try to use that. In my this is I may be wrong, but it's how I'm thinking when it comes to the marketing of her. They're going to use that to drive engagement, because that's when it comes to you, that's what the pool is. That's when everyone's tuning in to see what you have to say, because you're known to express yourself publicly, and we want to know what the mess is. Everyone's fucking messy. You know what I'm saying? So of course, when you go on interviews, they're going to ask you about this because you just did a couple of Instagram lives rants. You know what I mean? So like what, like that's what I think. Like that's what I mean. If you had just went on Instagram Live and ranted about something, I'm going to ask you that if I interview you. If you're in front of my face, first of all, if you're in my face, I'm a fan of you already. So I'm going to ask you about your music, but I am going to ask you about what you just did on the Shade Room last week. I'm going to ask you that.
Yeah, you get what you put.
Because why wouldn't I ask you that? Mm-hmm. You're on my platform. Why wouldn't I ask you that? We sit here. A lot of these platforms are solely based around pop culture topics. We're going to talk about that. Shannon Sharp, he's going to talk about the buzz questions. Mm-hmm. That's what the money is. Everyone's fucking messy. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I would understand why someone would ask you about mental health, whatever, when you go on a promo run, even though you're promoting your music. You know what I'm saying? Right. She complained about promotion because when Smoke came out, I don't think that song performed very well. She had a video that came out. I don't think the song performed very well. But this is the thing with Ari Lennox, right? And this is the thing. And this is what I was talking about with Coco Jones a few episodes ago when she released that taste video and song. Yes, record labels are going to put a budget behind big artists that are going to drive the most engagement, and they're not going to put much of a budget behind someone that doesn't drive that much engagement. They're going to worry about their ROI. You know what I'm saying? That's their main thing. So if Ari Lennox's music isn't doing that great or whatever, they're not going to put that much budget behind it. Right. In my opinion, I feel like her last couple of visuals, Ari Lennox, I can tell that she's doing what she can with what she has. And that's how I felt with Coco Jones. It just felt like I'm not downplaying these women. These women are beautiful and they're talented. But I can tell they're doing what they can with what they have. Right. I can tell that there isn't any, like, there may be a limited storyline or lack thereof. You know, they found the space where they can shoot the footage at, and we're going to make it work with what's in this studio or what's within this warehouse. Right. She just dropped a new song, Ari Lennox. She just dropped a new song called Soft Girl Era. Yeah. Ari Lennox has a beautiful voice, right? But I just feel like the song and the video, in my opinion, you know, is a bit generic to me. I feel like the song is very empty to me. It's a nice song. Like, you have a beautiful voice, but it's just like,
it don't make you feel
it doesn't really make me feel anything like other Ari Lennox music. Right. You know what I'm saying? And then the video was very generic as well. You know what I'm saying? And, like, you know, people had something to say. You know, people had a lot to say about that because, you know, I understand her frustration. Like, you know, there's no budget, no whatever, so you're doing what you can. But it's just like, damn, Ari Lennox, girl, like, Shea Butter Baby, like, you know, I just got a new apartment. You know, it's just like you. It's like we love Ari Lennox with the natural hair, the nice soft, like, brown skin. Like, you know, we love that authentic black girl that Ari Lennox is. Mm-hmm. So when we see things like Soft Girl Era, where it's like, okay, this is like snippets of things we already saw from so many other different people. Like, it's very cookie cutter visuals, cookie cutter scenes. It's like, oh my gosh, like, how many times have I seen this in someone's video? Oh my gosh, it's very it is. You know what I mean? Not a lot of thought behind it, you know, in my opinion. Even with the Smoke video, I feel like there's been so many times when, you know, people, you know, nothing is new under the sun, but there's been so many times where people use the old school mic and dance in front with the two girls on the side. Like, so many times people have done things like that. You know, it's just like, you know what I mean? So yeah, people had something to say about that. And so one user on Twitter said, "This song is so basic and bland for someone that can sing as well as she can. Is rudimentary. I want to see her do something more sophisticated and interesting with her art direction too. Get Solange on the line," right? And I bookmarked that, and even though, you know, it was a harsh criticism, but it was honest and it was with love, right? In my opinion. Mm-hmm. And when I think of someone like Solange, you know, I'm not sure about any of her, I don't know, any of her label issues that she may have gone through. I'm not aware of anything like that. But when I think about someone like Solange, I have always seen Solange do something with depth, everything Solange has done has been conceptual. Everything Solange has done has been intentional. Everything Solange has done has been cohesive.
Yeah.
Everything Solange has done has been informative. So I don't blame them for bringing up Solange. Like, somebody gets Solange on the line to help, to help pull out,
Right.
What she wants to get, what she offers to the world. You know what I mean? So that, so I appreciate people like artists like Solange. It's like, okay, well, she's gonna make you think. Everything is conceptual. It's refreshing. She's a visionary. That's like one of my favorite artists. You know what I mean? So it is disappointing when we see Ari Lennox, go through this, because she's a great talent. We don't want to lose her. You know what I mean? Hopefully, maybe Ari Lennox belongs on a label like LVRN, where Summer Walker and them are. LVRN has Summer Walker. They have Black, I think, and they have Tanner Adele. Right. And it's a boutique label. But from what we see so far, they pour into their artists. They're very intentional with their artists, and you can tell that they ask their artists, "What do you want to do? What message do you want to relay to the public?"
That's the key.
So maybe she should call up LVRN and see what she could do. I don't know. Let me see. Yeah. And then real quick though, I wanted to discuss